Hunter Kanoki, and this is Fool's FAQ, a show where I take the internet's most burning questions and give you an answer that'll make you the smartest person at your next yacht party. On today's episode, when money is no object. Have you ever wondered what the most expensive thing in the world actually is? Not like a mansion in Beverly Hills or a private jet. I'm talking about the kind of items that make billionaires look at their bank accounts and go, yeah, no. We're talking about objects that cost more than some country's annual GDP. We're talking about items so expensive that the average person couldn't even comprehend dropping that kind of cash, even if they worked 1,000 lifetimes. But here's the thing about expensive items. They don't always make sense. Some cost millions because they're rare. Some cost millions because of who touched them, and some cost millions because they're literally made of gold and platinum and covered in dinosaur bones. So, what are we actually talking about? Is it art? Is it real estate? Is it some secret tech that only billionaires know about? Let's find out. When we talk about the most expensive things in the world, we're diving into a fascinating intersection of rarity, craftsmanship, history, and, let's be honest, pure excess. These aren't your typical items for sale at a supermarket. These are the kind of things that get their own insurance policies and security teams. So, let's break this down. There are basically a few categories where you'll find the world's priciest objects: fine art, jewelry, real estate, vehicles, and some wild stuff that defies classification. And here's what's wild. Prices vary so dramatically depending on what you're buying, it's almost impossible to crown a single most expensive thing until you understand what category you're playing in. So, let's start with one of the most controversial and jaw-dropping sales in history: Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi. In November 2017, this Renaissance painting sold at Christie's in New York for mind-bending $450.3 million, which makes it the most expensive painting ever sold at public auction ever. Now here's the kicker, and this is where it gets really interesting. The painting had been bought just 12 years earlier for $10,000. $10,000. So what happened? Well, the painting was rediscovered, restored, and suddenly attributed to Leonardo da Vinci himself rather than one of his pupils. The artwork depicts Jesus Christ in Renaissance clothing, holding a crystal orb and giving a blessing. It's beautiful, mysterious, and apparently worth nearly $500 million. But, and this is a big but, there's serious controversy about whether this painting is actually a Leonardo or not. Some leading art experts think it's only partially by Leonardo, or possibly not by him at all. The restoration process was so extensive that some scholars question whether we even know what the original looks like anymore. And since the 2017 sale, the painting has been in storage in Saudi Arabia, reportedly waiting for a museum to be built for it. So the buyer paid $450 million for something that might be fake and hasn't been publicly seen since. That's either the deal of a lifetime or the most expensive mistake in art history. Either way, it's absolutely bonkers. So let's pivot to watches. You might think about a watch as just a watch, right? You strap it on, it tells you the time, and you move on with your life. Well, in the ultra-luxury world, the watch can be a mechanical masterpiece that costs more than a mansion. The Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime, reference 6300A, is the most expensive wristwatch ever sold. In 2019, at a charity auction in Geneva called Only Watch, a unique stainless steel version sold for $31 million. Now, of course, this isn't just any watch. It took over 11 years. That's 100,000 hours of handcrafting to create just one. The watch has 1,366 individual parts and 20 different complications. And for those of you wondering or who do not know, a complication in watchmaking refers to any function beyond just telling the time. This watch can track moon phases, play 5 different chiming sounds, show you multiple time zones, display a perpetual calendar, and basically do everything short of making your coffee for you. But here's what's even wilder. Patek Philippe only made 7 of these watches total to celebrate their 175th anniversary. And this particular one, it was the only one made in stainless steel instead of gold or platinum. That rarity alone probably added millions to the price tag. The buyer's identity remains a mystery, which is very on brand for people spending $31 million on a watch. Now, if you want to talk about expensive things, diamonds are basically the poster child. We're talking about stones that are so rare and beautiful that they make people literally fight over them at auctions. The Williamson Pink Star diamond is the second most valuable jewel ever sold at auction. In October 2022, at Sotheby's Hong Kong, this 11.15 carat fancy vivid pink diamond sold for $57.7 million. That's $5.2 million per carat. The bidding was absolutely insane, as you could probably imagine. 50 bids over the course of 20 minutes drove the price from a starting bid of 130 million in Hong Kong dollars all the way up to over 390 million in Hong Kong dollars. The final buyer was an overseas representative, and their identity, as you can probably imagine, is also private. The only diamond that beats it is the CTF Pink Star, which sold for $71.2 million in 2017, also at Sotheby's Hong Kong. These pink diamonds are so rare and so saturated in color that they literally shatter price records. The Williamson Pink Star came from a 32-carat rough diamond that was mined in Tanzania, then cut and polished to perfection. Its internally flawless condition and vivid pink color make it one of the most remarkable gemstones on the planet. Now, let's shift gears and talk about real estate, where things truly get astronomical. Antilia, located in Mumbai, India, is the largest and most expensive private residence in the world. This 27-story personal skyscraper was completed in 2010 and is owned by Mukesh Ambani, one of India's wealthiest individuals. The building is valued at approximately $4.6 billion. Now, to put that in perspective, Antilia is more expensive than many small nations' entire annual government budgets. It's a 400,000 square foot structure with 168 parking spaces, 3 helipads, multiple swimming pools, a health spa, a 50-seat home theater, and enough staff accommodations for 600 people. The building is designed according to ancient Vastu Sustra architectural principles, which is an ancient Indian system believed to maximize positive energy in a space. The actual construction cost is a bit murky, officially estimated at about $500 to $700 million, but very probably ended up closer to $2 billion. The price tag reflects not just the construction and land, which is incredibly expensive in Mumbai, but also the exotic materials used. Different marbles, stones, exotic woods, bespoke furniture, and fittings on every floor. And in my opinion, the craziest part, this is a vertical mansion designed for just one family. Now, let's talk about something that might be more myth than reality, the History Supreme yacht. The History Supreme is allegedly the most expensive yacht in the world, valued at a staggering $4.8 billion. It's reportedly owned by Robert Kwok, a Malaysian businessman and one of Asia's richest people. The yacht was supposedly designed by British luxury designer Stuart Hughes, who's famous for taking everyday objects and turning them into absurdly expensive luxury items, like iPhones encrusted with diamonds. Now here's where things get bonkers. The 100-foot yacht is reportedly made of 100,000 kilograms, that's 220,462 pounds, of solid gold and platinum. The interior allegedly features a master suite with a wall made from meteorite stone and actual Tyrannosaurus rex bones. There's supposedly a wall aquarium made from 24-karat gold and also liquor bottles with 18.5-karat diamonds embedded in them. But here's the thing, and this is important, there's almost no credible evidence that this yacht actually even exists. The only photos come from Stuart Hughes' website. There are no maritime records of it ever being built or registered. No reputable news sources have ever even documented seeing it at sea. And yachting experts have pointed out that a 100-foot vessel weighing 100,000 kilograms would probably sink under its own weight, which wouldn't even make it seaworthy at all. And if you're wondering how ships this size float, check out a past episode I did on this subject. So, is a History Supreme real? Well, that's genuinely unclear. It might be one of the most elaborate marketing stunts in luxury history, or it might actually exist in a secret dock somewhere. Either way, it's the kind of thing that makes you question what expensive even means. Is it expensive if nobody's actually sure it even exists? But here's something that definitely exists. The International Space Station, or the ISS. And it is the most expensive single object humanity has ever built, costing approximately $150 billion to design, build, launch, and operate so far. The ISS is a collaborative effort involving 16 countries such as the United States, Russia, Canada, Japan, and other European nations. It's a constantly inhabited laboratory orbiting Earth where astronauts conduct experiments in astronomy, biology, physics, and material science. It's been continuously inhabited by rotating crews since November 2nd, 2000, over 2 decades of uninterrupted human presence in space. So, why does it cost $150 billion? Well, for starters, space is very, 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 very expensive, as you can imagine. Every component has to be launched into orbit using rockets that cost hundreds of millions of dollars each. The ISS weighs roughly 420,000 kilograms, and getting that much material into space doesn't come cheap. It took 27 space shuttle flights alone to assemble the station, and each flight cost approximately $450 million in incremental costs. And beyond launch costs, the ISS is an engineering marvel. It had to be designed to withstand the vacuum of space, extreme temperature variations, micrometeorite impacts, and cosmic radiation. Every system is redundant, every failure could be catastrophic, so yeah, that complexity comes with a serious price tag. On top of the initial construction costs, the ISS costs an additional $6 billion per year to operate and maintain, with NASA footing approximately half of that bill. So, what did we learn today, other than the fact that some people have ridiculous amounts of money? Well, the world's most expensive things aren't always what you'd expect. Sometimes they're iconic pieces of Renaissance art. Sometimes they're mechanical watches that took over a decade to build. Sometimes they're diamonds so rare that bidders lose their minds at auctions. Sometimes they're buildings so large that they have their own zip codes, and sometimes they're yachts that might not even exist. And the crazy part, there are literally dozens more of these insanely expensive items out there. We haven't even touched on the most expensive cars, the most expensive books, and some of the more truly bizarre things that have sold for millions of dollars. So, the next time someone at a dinner party, or should I say next time someone at your next yacht party asks you about the world's most expensive things, you can drop these facts and sound like you actually know what you're talking about. And that, my friends, education is the real luxury. Thank you so much for listening to Fool's FAQ. Feel free to leave a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcasts, as it also helps new listeners discover the show. For more fascinating answers to your burning questions, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and always stay curious.